Hey everybody, welcome to the Brett Figueroa Show. My name is Brett Figueroa. Hey, I'm excited to have you with us. I'm thrilled to have you with us. And as always, our aim is to move, to motivate, and inspire you into your ultimate greatness. So I just want to take a moment and thank you for being with us and grabbing whatever idea, whatever strategies, whatever tactic, anything that you can use to evolve your life into a better, bigger, greater place. You know, if you've been with us over the past couple months, you know, you've heard me mention on each of our shows, we talk about, you know, coming out of this dark past that we've all been in, you know, for the past couple years. Crazy lockdown, quarantine down. For many, they've been knocked down, kicked down, dragged down, beat down, all that kind of stuff. Unemployment, domestic violence, suicides. I mean, just nasty stuff. You know, you hate to even talk about it, but the fact is it's reality. You know, society's really been hit with a lot of a lot of uncertainty, and there's been a lot of repercussion over these months, and you know people are still coming out of that. And so what my aim is to do through the work in which I get the fortunate pleasure to be able to do is to simply share tips and tools and different ideas and different strategies and maybe winning edge philosophies and things like that, so you and I can come out of that dark, move into the light, and simply have a richer and more fulfilling life. So I'm thrilled again to have you with us. Today we're going to talk about a topic that, you know, it's so many, people are like, oh yeah, I'm guilty, you know, holding on to the past. Like I got to hold on to the past. And so today we're going to talk about letting go of the past and what that would mean to be able to let go of the past. You know, is letting go of the past, is it, you know, in a broad scope, is it easy? You know, is it easy? No, I don't think any of this work is easy. You know, I don't think any of this work is easy, but the fact is, you know, in order for you and I to become all that we can become, is it going to be easy in the process? No. But is it going to be worth it? Yes, right? So we're willing to do the work. So for those that tune in and for those that check in with us and, you know, get part of our video series, we just want to say again, thank you so much. So today we're going to talk about letting go of the past and how does that past affect us? How does that past move us into doing certain things, thinking certain ways, you know, and just think about, you know, that's the one thing you and I all have in common. It's one thing we all have in common is we have a thing called the past, right? We have this history, and we have the one thing in common called the past. There's only thing that varies is the difference of the past, you know, how we were raised and upbringings and the different variables that, of course, differ amongst humans. So we're going to talk today really about how do we let go of that. You know, how do we let go of that? Because, hey, man, my hand goes up. I'm guilty of it too, right? I'm a human being just like anybody else. And, you know, many times it's easy to just kind of get caught up into thinking about, you know, back then, you know, what happened back then, you know, this disappointment, this frustration, you know, this failure, whatever that is, right? And it's easy to get caught up in those types of things, you know. You think about all the failures I've had, all the setbacks I've had, all the disappointments. And I think it's really easy that when we get caught up in all of those types of things, I really truly believe that that's what leads people down a dark path, you know, down a dark path of addictions, you know, a dark path of drugs and a dark path of drinking and a dark path of all kinds of different things. Because we're focused over here, right, on this thing called the past. And you know, our brain just wants to get out of that stuff. So we find these avoidance mechanisms. You know, we find these different things that are over here. You know, I know how to get out of the past, go to the bottle. I know how to get out of the past, reach for drugs. I know how to get out of the past, go for food. I know how to get out of the past, go shopping. I know how to get out of the past, go gamble. You know, I know how to get out of the past, do this or do that. You know, so we find different ways to get out of the past, right? And so today we want to talk about a couple different things. So we're not moving into the bottle. We're not moving into the drugs. We're not moving into addictions that are going to, you know, be life-threatening in many, many different cases. So we'll talk about a few different steps. First step we want to talk about letting go of the past is one is find, you know, how do I get out of the past? One is to become present, right? We can't live in the past and in the present, right? We're going to live in the past or the present. Right? Your brain it can focus on this thing right here called the present, or it's going to get focused on the past. And so I think that one of the greatest things that you and I have the opportunity to do is to snap out of the past, right? You hear people come along and they go, snap out of it, right? They just want to go, bam, I'll snap you out of it real quick, right? So find different strategies, find different ways when you find yourself mulling over the past and mulling over the bitterness and the frustration and the disappointment and the resentment and all the different things that seem to many times go along with the past, find strategies that allow for you to simply become present. Like, what can I do to become present in this moment right here, right now? Like, the past is back there, but what can I do to become present? Right? Find different ways to what we call pattern interrupt. Find something to interrupt your pattern. And so that's what happens with people when they go, I'll interrupt that pattern. I'll go drink. I'll go do this. I'll go do that. They're simply just doing nothing more than interrupting the pattern of thinking of their history or their past. And so find different ways to simply become present in your now, right? Who was that? Eckhart Tolle, I believe, right? Wrote the book Here and Now. Here Now, I believe is the name of it. Something of that nature. But that's all we have is right here, right? So find different ways to interrupt your pattern that are powerful and positive and productive and that can move you in the direction of your ultimate dreams, right? So if we're not doing something that's powerful, positive, and productive, then really what are we doing? We're probably doing something negative, dead, dull, and dilapidated. It's keeping us stuck in the same place. And again, we've all been stuck. We've all been in situations where, we're just like, oh my gosh, I feel stuck again. I feel in this certain place of my past and my history. So what I'm inviting you to is to find ways to become present, to find ways to just simply snap out of that space of the history, out of the past, and to become present. And to, one of the things that we really have to look at is our past is over here, right? It's over here. It's the past. And it's easy to get caught up in all kinds of things. And, I've had people, I might want to, cry the blues to somebody about, maybe something in the history of the past. And I remember my coach, Dan would be like, dude, deal with it, bro. It's what it is. Right? Deal with it. It's what it is. Right? And that's really all we can do is learn how to deal with it. Right? It's all we can really learn how to do is deal with it. We can't do anything about it. It's what it is. Right? It's like if you opened up your window or door and you said it's snowing outside. Now you might wish it was sunny and you can go out and play some ball and do some running, but it's not. It's snowing. It's raining. Deal with it. So you either don't go out, right? Or you dress for the occasion. It's snowing. It's raining. Right? So the choice is yours, but we have to learn how to deal with it. So my past and your past and all the different things that have gone up along the way, and again, setbacks and failures and disappointments, it's what it is. We got to learn to deal with it. And when we learn to deal with it, it's like a deck of cards. Here's the cards. You get a bunch of cards. Learn to deal with the deck of cards you got. Right? That's what you got. You were born with one arm. Dude, deal with it. I mean, I don't mean that, unjust, but we have to learn how to deal with it. Right? There's so many examples. The guy, I don't remember his name, Derek, I forget his last name, but the guy's blind. He's blind, and he climbed Mount Everest. I mean, for many, being born blind, they're not going to go climb the world's tallest mountain. But Derek learned to deal with it. I'm blind, I'm going to deal with it. And so whatever you've got in your life, whatever thing that you think should be different, it is what it is. Whatever you got is whatever you got. Deal with it. If you got that kind of past and that kind of history, that kind of this or that, again, not to be unjust, not to be harsh, or but just being bold, that we've got to learn to deal with it. I got to look at my past that was nasty. I got to look at my upbringing that was nasty in so many different ways, but I got to learn to deal with it. And so what I'm inviting you to is to learn how to deal with it, but at the same time, again, be present. Be present to where you are. Be present to the here. Be present to the now. And the moment you begin to notice, oh, I'm caught up in that dreamy land again of, my ex-spouse and about how you were unjust in this and that and this and all these different areas, or my boss, I remember back then, or, I remember my childhood, I remember that, and I remember or my ex-girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever that is. Dude, it is what it is. So number one, be present. Number two is to ask yourself, what is it costing you? What is it costing you to not let it go? Right? Just let it go. I mean, when you're in an argument with somebody and want to say, dude, let it go. I'm done. Let it go. Right? So we have to either hold on to it, that conversation, or we got to go, dude, you're right. Okay, it's gone. I'm done. Yeah, I let it go, and we carry on, right? We can either carry on and carry it with us, right? Or you can just let it go. So ask yourself, what is it costing you right now? I mean, really, what is it costing you? What is it costing you in your marriage by thinking about your past? You know, what is it costing you in your relationship with your children, constantly thinking about your past? You know, what is it costing you in your finances? What is it costing you in your business and business entrepreneurship or your business entities? What is it costing you? You know, I truly believe, you know, the mind will always do more, the brain will always do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. So even though we think, oh, I want the pleasure, I want the pleasure, I want the pleasure, our brain will do more. It's wired that way. Our brain will do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. So when you can stack up enough, and if you've been on our program before, then you know I talk a lot about what is it costing you. Because in almost every topic I talk about, I was like, dude, if you can wrap enough cost around what it's costing you in this particular topic, you can wrap enough cost, you will ultimately feel enough pain. You'll ultimately feel enough pain. Your brain feels enough pain. Your brain does not want to hang out in being a bunch of pain. Your brain's going to do fight or flight, boom, and it's going to find a way out. So what I'm saying is you might want to pull out your journal, pull something out and go, dude, what is it costing me to keep holding on to this past relationship, you know, this past frustration, this past failure? You know, they say, get back on the horse, man. I fell off the horse. Dude, get back on. Horse is right there. You fell off. Horse right there didn't run away. It's right there for you. Just jump back on the horse. You know, let it go. Number 3, we want to talk about dropping it fast. So being able to really drop it fast. Now, I'm going to do a quick metaphor for you. So for those that are watching, for those that are with us either in the live or whether you're going to be in a replay with us, I want you to just do a quick little exercise with me. And this will be a fun little exercise, and it's a very simple little exercise. But if you have a pen, so you got a pen, you got a pencil, you have something in your hand. What I want you to do is I want you to just take this pen in your hand, take a pen in your hand. And what I want you to do is I want you to just kind of imagine for a moment that in this pen is your history, your past, your baggage, your luggage. You know, all the things that you want to have, all that psychobabble, you know, that at nighttime when you lay your head on the pillow, all of a sudden all the dark creatures start wanting to appear, right? And so how would it be and what would it be like to be able to let that go? So you can actually get a great night's rest, right? So you can actually carry on through your day being fully present to your family, to your children, to your loved ones, to your associates, things of that. So I want you to imagine as you take this pen, I want you to imagine again everything of your past, your history, your negativity, your setbacks, your failures, your struggles, all the things that you think should have been different but weren't. I want you to take that. I want you to just really hold on to that. And I want you to hold on to it like the same way you do for many of the things that you hold on to. I want you to just hold on to it. I want you to feel even the emotions. I want you to feel even the emotions as you hold on to that pen. All of that stuff, just holding on to it. Now, I want you to do even something, I want you to hold it even tighter, right? Because aren't we so good at just holding on to the past just real tight? It's like our little snuggle blanket, right? It's just that little blanket. We're just like, oh, there it is, the coziness of the past. I want you to take this pen and just hold it. The past, the history, the failures, the setbacks, the struggles. I want you to hold it, tight it, squeeze it tighter, tighter, hold it tighter, tighter, squeeze it. Now what I want you to do at the count of 3, as I count to 3, I want you to just tighten it up, tighter, tighter, tighter. Now at the count of 3, what I want you to do is this. I want you to just open up your fist at the count of 3. Ready? So hold it, squeeze it again, just tighter, holding on to it. So I want to imagine for a moment that everything is blocked up inside. All of that history, all of that past, all of those failures, setbacks, and struggles. Hold on to it. Tighter and tighter. Count of 3, open up your fist. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, I see. I dropped it. Interesting. I just dropped it. And it dropped pretty fast. See, we have 2 choices. We can hold on into it and cling on to it, or we can just let it go. We can carry on. We can move aside, move away. We can embrace our future. We can tackle the challenges of the future, the things ahead of us. and not embracing the things that are behind us that we can't do anything about. It's what it is. And to be able to break our pattern, to be able to interrupt, to be able to go, hey, you know what? It's really not that complex. We can take things and drop things and let things go. Okay, I'm done. That was fun. Fun ride for the last 35, 40 years, but I'm done. I'm going to drop it. And when you make a pact with yourself and make an agreement with yourself that you're done, you're done. Dude, I'm done, bro. I appreciate you with me all these years, but I'm done. I'm out. I'm carrying on. I got a life ahead of me. I got generations ahead of me. I got a future ahead of me. I'm done. I'm out. Thanks for hanging on. Thanks for being in my backpack for 30 years. You got to get intense about it, right? Don't get intense. Don't get tense about it. Get intense. Get intense about dropping the past and carrying on with your future. So again, going quickly. Number one, be present. Be in the here. Be in the now. Can't be in the past and the future and the past at the same time. Pick a lane. Pick a side. You want to live in the past? Live in the past. But if you want to live in the future, live in the future. Become present, become here, and become right now. Number two is, again, what is it costing you? Remember, our brain will always do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. If you stack enough pain, your brain says, boom, I'm out. Right? It's going to ultimately say, I'm out. Because you're going to have too much pain. It's costing me too much pain in so many different areas. Number three is recognize that, hey, dude, I can drop it fast. I don't have to carry on. It doesn't have to be a long process. I don't have to go to a therapist's couch and hang out there for the next 30 years in order to let go of my history. It's a decision. It's a choice, and it's ours. That's the great part about it. It's not society's choice. It's ours. That's our history. It's my past. I can choose to carry it or I can choose to leave it. Right? I mean, think about when you're packing off to go on vacation, right? Do I take it or leave it? Which one am I going to, do I take these shoes or do I leave these shoes? Do I take this dress or do I leave that dress? Do I take these pants or do I leave that pants? Pick a side, take it or leave it, right? You'll be so much better off if you decide to just leave it. Let it go. Number four, and this is a really important one as we begin to close up, but number four is, how do we use our past instead of our past using us? All right, just think about that for a minute. How do we use our past? How do we use our past instead of our past using us? So instead of our past using us and getting us to think like, oh, what a failure and what a misery and what a this and what a that, and simply playing victim, which it's so much easier to play victim, right? I mean, geez, really, who wants to be responsible for anything? It's easier that the bus just ran me over, right? And the fact is we really begin to look at and say, how can I use the past? Right? When you look at some of the great leaders of our world that have had such, if you look at like a Nelson Mandela, for an example, imprisoned for all those years. But did he let that define him? No. He used that to springboard himself into doing amazing things for our world. Right? And forever, we'll always, for generations and hundreds of generations, thousands of generations, we'll always remember a guy like a Nelson Mandela, because he didn't use that situation of a past to define his future. And we hope that you don't either. So think about, I know from my own personal self, I talk about my past, and I used to not talk about my past and my upbringing and all kinds of stuff because it was a lot of nastiness. And there's a lot of it's just like, but here's the fact. When I really put the dots and start connecting dots, fact is, I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for my past. I wouldn't be who I am. If I didn't have a mom and a dad like a mom and dad that I had, that for many times they were like terrorists. I'm not saying it was hell all the time, but we had some hell, lots and lots of hell, and just crazy, crazy stuff. And, without going into a whole bunch of detail, but the fact is I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for that. I just got so committed to making sure that I was going to have a different generation ahead of me. I was going to have different kids than the nastiness. I had to refine myself. And I know that for many that came out of a past like my own self, they're usually living on the wrong side of town. They're living on the other side of the tracks. They're caught up massively in drugs, addictions, alcohol, something, because they're always living back there. What happened to me back there? What happened to me back there? I had to look at what happened. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not playing, Mother Teresa by any stretch, because I know for a big part of my life, it was that, so it's my past and all, that's, it was always talking about my past. And I had to find a way to use my past to fuel my future, right? So maybe you have somebody in your life where you go, oh, I'm gonna get even with them. Maybe you have a past spouse, maybe that spouse thought, oh, they're never gonna become anything, or maybe it's a mom that thought you were never gonna become anything, or a dad that thought, oh, what a loser, whatever. And they always say success is the greatest revenge. As hard as it is to say that, you and I both know that success is a pretty good revenge, like, sucker. And you said I wasn't going to make it, right? I mean, there's many successful actors and actresses and, people on television, just different elements, basketball, football, you name it, whatever, business icons. And they simply just look back to their, to their people that said back in their history that they'll never become anything. They'll always be a failure. You'll always be a loser. And now who has last laugh, right? So my invitation is to really identify how can you use that past, right, to serve your future. Maybe you have something back there that went on where you go, you know what? I'm going to help people ahead of me that are dealing with those same type of things. I'm going to help people ahead of me. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to create an audio program. I'm going to become a motivational speaker. I'm going to motivate the hell out of people to simply live a better life, right? So I want to encourage you here today as we close up that, again, the past is the past, right? It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't go in and redo the past. I can't go in and redo the marriage. I can't go in and redo any of that. It is what it is. Got to learn to deal with it. So let's just close out here again. Step number 1, be present. Be here, be now. Step number 2, what is it costing you? Get really clear. Add that up. Stack it up real high. Create a lot of pain around that aspect right there. Number 3 is drop it fast. Boom, take it, let it go. Know that we can let things go. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. Number 4 is how do we use our past instead of our past using us. So as we close out right here, just remember this as we go in, and it simply says the past is the past, and now it's time to go kick some ass. Right? Time to go kick some ass. Time to do some amazing things. I want to just close out and say again, thank you so much to our viewers, our watchers, whether you're here with us live, whether you watch us on a replay. And again, if you get value out of what we do, add a little comment, do a little share. Maybe you have somebody in your family, maybe somebody that's an associate, a friend, that's maybe going through a frustrating time, a difficult time, a challenging time, a setback time, a disappointing time. Something is something, they're caught up just in that place. Share this video with them. Share this little short training with them. Maybe it can make a difference. Maybe it can make an impact in their lives. So we want to say again, as we close out, it's always a pleasure. It's always a great honor to be with you. And I want to wish you and your family during this season that we are in right now, the season of Thanksgiving, the season of Christmas, the time to give, to put a smile on people's life, put a smile in their heart, put happiness, bring happiness to people. And we've heard many times the secret to living is giving. And so a lot of times, people go out into life and they think, oh, no one's smiling. Dude, bring them a smile. That's like saying, dude, no one wears any shoes. Why don't you go take them some shoes, right? So we can bring the smile. We can bring the shoes. We can bring the happiness. They say you can't bring happiness to people. What? If I was hungry and somebody brought me a big giant turkey sandwich, I'm happy. Right? So we can do that. So in the season of giving right now, make it an opportunity, make it a priority to when you go out, forget about how you feel. Go out there and make an impact. Go out there and make a difference. Go out there and make a contribution to our fellow people out across the world, especially as we come out of COVID time, lockdown time, quarantine time. So we want to wish all of you an amazing, amazing future ahead. Thank you again so much for tuning in. We love all of our friends across wherever you're at, whatever platform you might be in. And again, our aim is to move, to motivate, and inspire you into ultimate greatness. So go out there and do some amazing things. We look forward to seeing you back here on the Brett Figueroa Show. And until then, boom, go out there and drop your past. Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.